Alrighty, folks. Hello, Mr. Matthew Larson here once again. This time is going to be a two-part lesson on economics in the American colonies because there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. So we're going to break it down into two different sections. The first thing we're going to talk about is being able to describe the role of a joint stock company. So what is a joint stock company, first and foremost, and how did that influence the development of both the Jamestown colony and the Massachusetts Bay Colony? Now, moving in, first and foremost, what the heck is a joint stock company? A joint stock company, as you can see, is simply a company who has stock that's owned by stakeholders. So instead of one individual owning the entire company, taking all of that risk of the company's failing, it's going to be divided by individual people. So if that company does that company does fail, it's not going to impact one person so much. It's going to impact a lot of people a little versus one person a lot. This is going to decrease the risk, which is why companies are going to become joint stock companies in the first place. And number two, it allows the company to raise capital or raise money. So you can share a little bit of the company and then people will decide to buy it, meaning the company has more money. So it's kind of a way of making the risk decrease, but also allowing your company to make more money. Now, right here, you can see an example of what this is going to really look like. You've got a company on one side of your screen, and you've got three people on the other side, three happy yellow faces. Now, the company is going to have money. That's just what a company does. That's why companies exist, in order to make money. These individuals are also going to have money. So the company is propped up by shares, right? So an individual company, you got a percentage of the company that is down below. The company wants to make more money. It's going to then go about and sell those shares to individual people. So as you can see right through here, that first dude is going to buy a share. The share is going to go to him, and the company now has more money. Similar situation with the second person right through there, going to take a share, and then the same thing with this third person right here, taking a share. Now, the reason this is going to happen, again, is it allows the company to have more money. You can see over there, more dollar signs. That's good for the company. But also, if that company were to fail for some reason, again, all that money would be lost, but instead of one person's money completely being lost, it's multiple individuals' money being lost. So it allows a little bit more stability, and this is going to be what it is. In turn, though, when the company is making money, why would you buy a stock in the first place? Why would you buy a share? When the company is making money, that money is going to go to the individual shareholders. So as you can see right here, the individuals are going to get money in return for that company for their share, which they can use to either buy more shares in this company or in a different company, and it's going to really allow economic growth to stimulate. We'll talk about this a little bit more in class. Again, this is just a brief overview of what's happening. First big colony we want to talk about is Jamestown. Now, Jamestown is located in present-day Virginia. This colony was established in 1607 with 104 men and boys. They're going to name it after King James the First of England. It is a British colony. You had the backing of the king, his support. You can see that right here in the name as well of honoring him. Now, why did they build it here? Well, there's a number of reasons. First and foremost, it is a peninsula. Peninsula, again, a geographic feature surrounded by land on one side and water on three. This is significant because it's easier to defend that natural barrier of the water. It's also far inland, which makes it harder for others to attack you, particularly the Spanish, who do not like the English at this time, and the English do not like the Spanish. The Spanish were the first to settle in North America, so they really don't like the idea of the Spanish or the British coming over here as well. They have a motivation to attack. Put it inland, it's harder for them to get to you. There's also not a presence of the natives who are in the area, so you're not moving into land that someone else is directly living on. And the ports nearby are deep, meaning your ships can come in, resupply ships can come in. It's easier to transport goods from Europe into your colony. Now, they are going to build a triangle-shaped fort. The reason you're going to build a shape in a triangle is it's the easiest shape to defend. You've got three sides. You only got 104 people inside, so you got to divide that by three. It's easier to have more men on one side versus dividing it by 4 or 5 or different shapes. So triangle, easy to defend. One of the problems is it is located on Powhatan hunting land. So the Powhatan, or the local tribe that was in the area for thousands of years before the British arrived, this is areas that they had traditionally used for hunting. Now, this is going to impact their ability to get food, and that's going to be problematic. Again, if you think about your basic needs, food is like the most important or one of the most important. So that's going to make it problematic and lead to some tension between the Powhatan and the settlers in Jamestown. And lastly, the water supply is problematic. The water here is not clean, so it's not good for drinking. It is dirty and it is full of diseases. Drinking dirty, diseased water, you can imagine, not good, causes some issues, namely death, and that's problematic. So there were some problems with the colony as well. Now, it is important to talk about the relationship between the English and the Powhatan as well. As I talked about, we're in this area that was Powhatan hunting land. Now, traditionally, right, it starts off, it was not a horrible relationship from the start. We're going to know, though, down the road of history that that's going to shift. Chief Powhatan is going to be the leader of the tribe at the time the British come in. He is going to provide the settlers with food initially as a way of preventing famine. They were going to run out of food, they were going to have no food, and they would have died or had to leave and go back to Britain, which would have resulted in the settlement failing. He was kind, went out of his way to provide them with food, which allowed the settlement to really survive. The relations are going to sour, though, during a drought. Again, food is problematic. People are going to need food to survive. When you are relying on that natural resource and the kindness of others to give it to you, that can be problematic. Now, the English are demanding more food from the Powhatans than the Powhatans can simply produce because there is a drought. It's really hard to grow food when you don't have water to keep that food alive. The British are saying, we need more, we need more, we need more. The Powhatans can't give them any more because they don't have it, and this is going to lead to tensions. This leads ultimately to the Starving Time, which is a great little name for an area of time. Winter, 1609 to 1610. There is a fear of leaving the fort because, again, the relations between the Powhatan and the settlers of Jamestown are not good, and they're afraid for their lives if they are to leave. As a result, they're going to eat really whatever they can find that is even somewhat edible inside the colony or inside the fort. So they're going to eat leather from shoes and clothing and anything they could find, animals that have that are there inside the fort because it's a source of meat, and settlers. If someone dies, they have a lot of meat on their body. You might as well cook them up in the fire. Economics in Jamestown. One we want to talk about here is John Rolfe is going to be the big person from Jamestown. He is important because he imports tobacco seeds into the colonies for the first time in 1612. And this is going to allow the colonies to make money. This is going to be the cash crop that they're going to be able to grow and sell that back in England and the UK and the rest of Germany, rest of Europe. Germany's not really involved in this at this time, allowing them to make some money. Comments, questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in part 2.